So what is up guys, this is Nick here from Everything Tech, helping you to master your technology, and welcome to this video on how to save battery on your iPhones. This works for any iPhone running iOS 10, and most of these tips will work for iPads and iPods as well. So let's begin with the first one, and that is to check your apps, and not just to check them like obviously we know to go on the battery, but let these things load up really quickly while we have nothing there. But let's look here on the 7 Plus, and you can see it'll show you which battery, app's been draining the most battery. So I use Kindle a lot, so you can see here on my 7 Plus that Kindle has been draining pretty much everything. Now, if you find an app that's a little bit out of whack, you might want to check in the last 7 days. This is going to show you what your main usage has been on your phone and what's really been draining it. Now, if you find something that's a little bit overused, then you're going to want to go ahead and go into the App Store on your device and check for updates. If you have this set to automatic, then it should be automatically updating your phone. But if you have it set to manual, you're going to have to do this by yourself manually. So make sure you check for updates. If there's no update and that application continues draining your iPhone's battery, go ahead and delete that app until they have fixed the problem. Number 2 is to go ahead and remove the widgets. So over here on iOS 10, it introduces widgets, which I don't think are super useful. I don't really use widgets that much here on my iPhone device. But if you do have a lot of widgets, go ahead and disable as many as you can to save on battery life. Having a bunch of widgets on the left here is a very, power resource heavy thing that you can do on the iPhone. So if you go ahead and remove those widgets, you simply go over here to the left, go to edit, and it'll allow you to go ahead and remove them here by hitting the red icon there. That will save you some battery life as well on iOS 10. Another thing I want to mention is go ahead and check up here where it says, in this phone I don't have a SIM in here, but check right here for your service status. Now if your service is low, like you have low bars, go ahead and enable airplane mode. Now do remember that airplane mode is going to go ahead and cut off cellular connection, so if you need to talk to someone or text someone or call someone using your cellular data and not Wi-Fi such as iMessage, Kik, and stuff like that, definitely go ahead and turn on airplane mode when you're in a bad service area, such as out in the subway, underground, something like that, where you just have horrible service. Turn on airplane mode. That'll save your battery from juicing down like crazy, because it's searching all over the place to try to keep your connection strong and rapidly draining battery life. Another thing I would recommend you guys go ahead and do if you want to save a lot of battery life on your iPhone is disable the keychain for iCloud. So turn this off. What this does is it keeps passwords and credit card information you save up to date on your devices. So just go ahead and turn this off right here and turn off Safari autofill, and that should save you some battery life there. You can also just disable iCloud altogether. That would make your iPhone experience a little bit more restricted, a little bit more less useful and less fun. So I don't recommend you disabling iCloud totally, but go ahead and disable iCloud keychain as I just showed you right there. The next tip I think many of us know, but for those of you who don't know, to fix iPhone battery drain problems, go into General and Settings and go down into Background App Refresh and make sure you have this turned off. This is a major battery drainer here for your iPhone. So if you want to save iPhone battery life, turn off Background App Refresh. That will definitely help you save here on iOS 10. The next tip to save battery life here, or battery life problems, is to go ahead and manage your display. If you're constantly running this display at full brightness, you're definitely going to be draining battery much quicker than if you run it at 50 or 75%. Now I know sometimes we need it at full when we're out in the daylight, but really we don't need it all the way to the top at all times. And it actually could cause eye problems if you always have your phone on super bright. It's actually not good for the eyes. That's why Apple includes night shift mode down there. Going into settings here, we can also go ahead and turn off the auto brightness here. If we go into settings here and we go into auto brightness right here, you can disable that on your iPhone. Do that and you should save some battery life definitely on iOS 10. Next thing you can do to save battery life is go into settings here and turn off the raise to wake feature. So we're going to go into general and we're going to go into display here on the iPhone, and you can see iPhone raise to wake. So turn that off. Now this feature is only available for Apple A9 CPU devices and above. So if you got an iPhone 6 or you got an iPhone 5S, this is not going to work. But raise to wake is definitely a feature I would recommend you guys turn off if you're having battery drain issues on phones like an iPhone 6S, an iPhone 7, 7 Plus, and the like. Another thing you can do is go ahead and restart your iPhone. So we're just going to power it off here. and we're just gonna restart it. So just turn it off and restart it. And what that does is sometimes when you restart it, actually the battery life is just reading wrong on your device, and sometimes it just needs a restart, and actually you have no issues with your iPhone. So that's another tip there that I have seen before. Like for example, yesterday my iPhone 7 Plus was reading 91% battery life. I turned it off, turned it back on. It actually had 100%. So sometimes the iPhone just needs a restart. Now, I'm sure most of us seasoned iPhone users do know that you can use the low battery power mode, but for those of you who don't, go into your battery settings and go into low power mode and make sure you have this toggled on at all times. This actually doesn't slow your iPhone down too much. It does make your screen turn off quicker from time to time, so it might shut off while you're reading something and you might have to turn it back on. But the low power mode really does save a lot of battery life. And one of my final recommendations is to go ahead and download an older iOS version. So if you come to 10.3, for example, you found that iOS 9 was doing better, go ahead and try to download the older version, go back to that. You're gonna have to use iTunes to do this. This is not a video on showing you how to do that, so we're gonna just talk about it here, but I would say go ahead and go restore to an older iPhone version. Now, this is definitely not something I would recommend because you are going back in features, you are going back in security. So if none of the other tips, this is like a last resort if none of the other tips are working for you. And some of my final bonus tips is to go ahead and buy yourself a battery pack. I'm sure most of us knew this. This is not really a way to fix your draining problems, but to add battery life wherever you are. Or go ahead and get something like a Mophie juice pack to help you out with that. Anyway, these were my tips on how to fix iPhone battery draining problems. I guarantee if you use some of these that your iPhone battery life should improve. If it does not improve, that means that the physical cell within the iPhone itself has depleted to a point where it's just not giving you as good a battery life. In that case, you are going to have to go to Apple Genius Bar or to a shop and get a replacement battery for your Apple iPhone. I don't recommend you guys do that at home because it's you know, those wires and ribbon cables inside of the iPhones do from time to time snap and you can mess something up. So I do recommend taking it to a professional if you're going to be replacing the battery in full. Anyway, if you found this video helpful, do me a favor, click the like button for me, share this with a friend who's got an iPhone, or you know that person who's always hugging the wall with the charger. Let them know about this video, and subscribe for more tech videos like this. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.